war rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Today's battle showcases beautiful thematic dice from Baron of Dice. Grab your own or get a custom set made at baronofdice.com.
Hello and welcome to the Season of War. Tonight we are excited to bring you another game of Age of Sigmar. My name is Jordan and I am joined by a very special guest tonight. Dom, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. We've got a tournament coming up. We're going to the North American Masters together. We're leaving bright and early tomorrow. And you landed late at night, but we still had to get a game in.
Got to get a game in. Can't turn down the prospect of getting on the channel.
Yeah. But otherwise, jumping right into things, the mission we're playing today is Scorched Earth. So there's 8 objectives on the table. It's the most in any of the missions in this GHB. It's hold 1, hold 2, hold more for storing. But the twist with this one is from the second battle round on, you can burn an objective you control and contest in enemy territory at the end of your turn. So you can deny some objectives potentially throughout the game, but that's the main element to it. And then the underdog is able to reduce an enemy unit's objective control score by 5. They choose a unit at the start of the round, so that can, obviously mess with those controlling numbers as well. But then, Dom, do you want to take us through your Slaves to Darkness list?
Yeah, I'm running in a completely unique list that I'm sure no one else has ever thought of. Be'lakor and 12 Varanguard, 2 6-packs. They're both in Mark of Khorne. Everything is all in Be'lakor's regiment. I'm a 1-drop, and then for scoring tactics, I have a little 6-mana Furies and a little 5-mana Fell Riders, and my Chaos Shrine, and I'm just looking to remove more of your models than mine die.
Yes, and I've got a pretty similar list, or list concept at least. I've got one big guy in Nagash, and I am playing in the Ossiarch Bone Reapers here. But Nagash is leading similarly 4 units here, 2 big heavy hitting ones, and 2 meant for a little bit more skirmish and objectives. But with that, it is obviously 4 units of Death Riders, 2 of 5, and 2 reinforced units of 10. And then I have Morbid Conjuration, because while it has changed, it's still really good.
Yeah, and obviously, and I have the Primal Energy, so I can get extra healing, because losing Varanguard is really hard. Now that you can't rally them, you need 5 out of 6 dice on a 4+ to get any back. So if I can reduce as many dying as possible, I'm going to do it.
Yep, but here with just 1 hero each, we were both 1-drops. Dom, you won the roll-off and decided to deploy first, so you will have choice of who goes first. But before we do that, I get to do a pre-game move with my units, and then you get to decide. So I'll get to choose 3 Death Rider units for my battle formation and do some moving. So we'll do that first. And that's it for my deployment phase moving. And then Dom, we get to choose our seasonal buffs for the game now.
Being that I dropped first, I'm gonna have to choose, and I'll choose my Furies to be my bodyguard for Be'lakor.
And then for mine, I am going to choose to give my 1 unit of 10 Death Riders here anti-cavalry on the charge. So an extra rend should do me well. And then Dom, the big decision.
I will have to give it to you because I'm not going to be able to get any of your points. I got 4-ups to roll to potentially fight before you do. And if you bring the fight to me, I can still fight you and I can control the double. So all right. I'll let you go first.
All right, sounds good. So let's jump into OBR turn 1. All right, so my battle tactic this round is going to be take the flanks. I've set up and I'm still in range for that. And then I'm going to jump into spellcasting. Nagash is going to start by casting Invocation of Nagash on this rightmost unit of 10 Death Riders. He'll fail that with a 6 actually, and he'll try and do the same on the central unit, which he will also fail on a 6. He's then going to try and cast the Malevolent Maelstrom, which he gets on a 14.
I'll choose not to unbind it.
And then he'll try and cast the Suffocating Gravetide, which he'll get on a 9. Then we'll try and cast the Purple Sun and get that off on an 11. Then the Soul Snare Shackles on an 8. And then the only other relevant thing to cast right now is Empower Netherite Weapons, and we're going to try and put that on this central unit, which we miscast and fail, then suffer 2 mortal wounds and eat them both. He could actually keep casting now with the current rules, but I have nothing else to cast, so we're going to stop there. And then that's going to be it for my hero phase.
So I'll try to Heroic Intervention, and I'll try to cast and summon out the Endless Life Swarm. Ooh, on a 9.
And then I'm just going to get into movement. And at the start of the movement phase, Nagash is going to use Unstoppable Advance to give +2 inches of movement to OBR units, wholly 12 of him. And then I'm going to use at the double on my leftmost unit of Death Riders to give them a 6-inch run. All right, that's it for my movement phase.
In an attempt to keep my Fell Riders alive, I will spend a command point and I will redeploy them. Ooh, big 6.
All right, that's big, and I have no shooting, so I'm gonna jump right into charges. Nagash is going to use Coordinated Charge to give a +1 to charge bubble, and that redeploy is making it tough, but we're gonna try and get in with our big unit of Death Riders over here. Looking for an 8 on the dice now. Easy 9, no problem. So that'll be 10 overall, and we're gonna make the charge.
Oh, no good roll goes unpunished.
Yeah. And that is my only charge, so I'm gonna jump right into combat. That's the only unit in combat, so we're gonna go with those Death Riders first. They're out of range for any of my Ossiarch commands, but I will use all-out attack and start the fighting. So I'll be on 2s and 4s here with the Riders. So that's gonna be 15 attacks at Rend 1, 2 damage each.
On 6s, from 5s to 6s.
We take him down.
As the cavalry marches across the battlefield and draws first blood, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers lean on their martial prowess, as Nagash aims to force their enemy to split their power.
All right, so Ossiarch turn 1, and I'm obviously happy with the way it went. Did what I planned to from the start, but your big redeploy almost threw a wrench in it, but Nagash prevailed and we got that charge.
Yeah, there was hope for a moment.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah, as soon as we were in combat, we knew the outcome there with 10 Death Riders going into the Fell Riders.
Yeah, +1 damage on all those attacks, 1 rend, me saving on 5s, just with the weighted dice was going to be too much after you rolled those last 6.
Yeah, so spicy, got lots of explodes in there. But otherwise, we are going to complete the battle tactic of take the flanks. Because of that charge, I do also hold more objectives. So I will store the full 10 points this round. And I've kind of set up to be as defensive as possible, knowing that you have the potential double. We've got a big wall of endless spells. And then my central unit of Death Riders is sitting defensively in the forest, so behind a wall of endless spells. So yeah, trying to, again, mitigate the oncoming onslaught or slow it down and delay it, but that's to be it for my turn, Dom. So we can just jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 1.
Okay, so my battle tactic for the first turn is going to be to slay the Entourage. And I'm going to try to slay your unit of 5-man Caval's Death Riders on the side, because I think that's potentially the closest thing I can get into. My Nexus Chaotica, I'm going to roll d6 to add ritual points to it. I get 2, which unfortunately means I can't get +1 to cast. For my first spell, Bellicor will try to put 3/6 charge onto my green Vanguard. And he fails to do so. With his next spell, he will actually banish, and he'll try to banish your chains.
And he will.
And he will with a big old...
And now I can't recast them.
And that is it for my hero phase. All right, going into my movement phase.
Don't forget you can get access to 4 extra battle reports every month by supporting the channel through our YouTube membership. Hit the join button below the video to learn more.
And with only 4 units, that's the end of my movement phase. In my shooting phase, I did have a shooting unit, but it no longer exists, so now we're both just on full combat. Charge phase, I'll start with the Green Vanguard. Unit 6, I think.
That'll do it.
That'll do. I'll charge this unit of Vanguard. Another good one.
Okay, no counter-charging, but I am going to use Counter-Strike with Nagash to give me a bubble of anti-charge +1 rend. And then at the start of combat, he's going to use Impenetrable Ranks to give me a 5-up ward save bubble as well.
I'm going to, with my black unit, I'm going to activate their once per game ability to fight twice. And on their second activation, they will have fights last. And for my first combat, I'll go with the one that is in the most danger. I'll go with the black unit fighting first. And I will use all-out attack.
Okay, I am going to use all-out defense here.
Getting their first chance to attack, the Vanguard deal a staggering 39 damage to the Death Riders.
We'll go for the 5-up ward save. So 26 damage in total.
Yeah.
A little more than I hoped.
Quite a bit on a 30 wound unit.
Yeah. And then I get to fight back, and I'm gonna go with this unit of Death Riders, and they're gonna use all-out attack because they might as well try.
Fighting for their lives, the Death Riders deal 5 damage and manage to take down a Vanguard. Then when the Chaos Champions retaliate, they inflict 11 damage back and kill 3 Death Riders.
And then I'll fight with my 2 endless spells that are in combat, the Gravetide and Maelstrom.
The manifestations look to block off the remaining Death Riders and combine to take down a Vanguard. When the Vanguard then fight again, they fail to take down both of the Death Riders, but do destroy the manifestations.
For end of turn, first off, I'll spend my last command point to power through on the Cavalos Death Riders. 3d3 mortal wounds. For the 1.
Okay, ward save. No, we take 1, but he's 1 Death Rider lives on 1 wound.
Smashing into the ranks of undead constructs, the Slaves to Darkness inflict devastating casualties and leave the Great Necromancer exposed and under threat.
All right, end of turn, I didn't kill anything, so I don't get to roll an Eye of the Gods for my Vanguard. I also did whiff and fail to kill the Cavalos over there, so that's my battle tactic that I failed. But I did manage to take more objectives, so I do score a 6-point turn.
Yeah, it's funny. Now, there's obviously the fight twice, but this unit of Vanguard, even with -1 hit and all the defensive buffs over here, managed to do, what, 26 damage to, or more than that? Yeah, no, 26 damage to the 1 unit, but the other unit couldn't do 15.
Yeah, and it was all just the 6s. I all-out attacked, but I was just still on the base profile, and I just hit a bunch of 6s right off the bat, and all of a sudden there's 14 mortal wounds before you make any saves, and it just 6s to hit on 3 damage attacks when you're making 24 of them. It's just huge weight of dice.
Yeah, and the defenses obviously didn't hold up as well as I would have hoped. Now, you made a good play in Dispelling Shackles, and noteworthy, now I would have previously been able to recast that, but not anymore because of the recent battle scroll. And so 6 points for you, and that'll lead us into priority for round 2, a big one.
4?
To a 3 for Nagash.
I am gonna have to take it.
All right.
I'm primed and ready to go.
Sounds good. So let's jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 2.
I will start off with my Nexus Chaotica. 2 goes to 4. I'm gonna spend a cast on him to banish the sun.
You got it.
That'll do. Bellicor is gonna cast Binding Damnation on your 2 Cavalos to give them always strikes last. And I fail it. That is it for my hero phase.
I'm going to spend a command point here with Nagash to try and cast Invitation of Nagash onto my single Death Rider. I get that off on a 10, which is going to make it a double Death Rider unit. Then I'll spend another command point to rally those Death Riders as well. And we get enough to bring one back. So trying to build back up the defenses.
Just trying to save Nagash.
Yep.
And so for my movement phase, starting off, I'm going to heal my Vanguard with the Endless Life Swarm. That's going to be it for my movement.
Okay, I will spend another command point here to redeploy with Nagash. And he's going 3 inches. Every inch matters.
All right, nothing for shooting for either of us. Charges. I'm going to charge the oh so important Vanguard. What does a 7 get me? I will spend a command point to reroll that.
I was waiting for the snake eyes, and then I saw the first one. All right, Nagash is going to use Counter-Strike here again to give me anti-charge +1 rend, if anything's alive, and then he's also going to use Impenetrable Ranks to give my Death Riders a 5-up ward save.
Perfect. Well, the only activation I have is the Vanguard, so I'm going to start off with them. And I will spend a command point and I'll all-out attack. 2 of the Vanguard are going to be in range and are going to go into Nagash, and the rest are going to lift those dang ponies.
And I will use all-out defense here with Nagash.
When they attack, the Vanguard deal 9 damage to Nagash and give themselves a chance to finish off the Death Riders.
So this is on the Death Riders?
Yeah.
So 4s to 6s. We save 1.
3, 6, 9 damage.
5-up ward save here.
Oh, Lord.
Come on, Nagash. We save 6 out of 9 on 5-ups. So I take 3 damage, and I still have 2 Death Riders.
On the western flank, the other 2 Death Riders deal 2 damage to the Vanguard, then are swiftly taken out from their retaliation.
I will then get to fight into your Vanguard over here with Nagash first.
Nagash deals 10 damage and takes down 2 Vanguard, then the Death Riders tack on 2 more wounds.
I will power through on the Death Riders for 3 mortal wounds.
Let's roll some wards. We save 1, but that is enough to exactly kill 1 Death Rider.
Despite failing to deal the devastating blow they intended, the Slaves to Darkness clear out the western flank, hoping they'll have another chance to fell Nagash.
And the only unit that I got a kill with was the Green Vanguard, so on end of turn they will also roll Eye of the Gods. On a 6 they get to choose whatever they want, and I will choose them to be +1 to hit. So I unfortunately didn't get it nearly as much into Nagash as I wanted to, but the 2 that did a fair amount of damage, and then the 3 that didn't couldn't kill the Cavalos again.
Yeah, it was a mix of you rolling bad on your wound roll and me rolling great on my ward save.
Yeah,
kept them alive.
Yeah, it would be if I managed to kill both those units, that would be me rolling extra buffs on my guys. That would be pretty big, but I'm still, I think, in a pretty good spot, despite could be down quite a few points going into round 2.
Yep, you do still hold 2 and more here though, so you do get your 6 points. So you have a 2-point lead right now, but obviously going into my turn at the bottom of the round. And with that, we'll just go into OBR turn 2. All right, so my battle tactic this round is going to be take their land, and I'm going to take control of this terrain piece, these 2 trees that I already control. But then into spellcasting, Nagash is bracketed, so he only has 6 spells left. And we're to start by casting Invitation of Nagash onto the lone Death Rider. And fail it on a 6. Then we're going to try and cast the Malevolent Maelstrom, and get that on a 9. Then we'll go for the Suffocating Gravetide on a 10. And the Purple Sun On a 9. Then we'll go for the Soul Snare Shackles. On an 8. And they're going to do D3 Mortals on a 2-up for 2 mortal wounds to the Vanguard. Then my last spell is going to be nothing because there's no reason to potentially miscast on something that won't matter. So that's it for my hero phase.
In your hero phase, I will rally the black unit of Vanguard. They heal down to full, or up to full. I'm going to use the once per game ability from Bellicor, the Dark Master. So anytime Nagash tries to use an ability on a 3+, it fails.
All right, well, with that, I guess we'll just get into movement. And Nagash is going to start by trying to use Unstoppable Advance for +2 to move.
No, he cannot.
Rude.
Before you post any passive-aggressive comments, Bellicor did indeed fail the Dark Master and allow Nagash to move. I know you were already typing something.
All right, that's going to be it for my movement phase here. So into charges, we're going to go with the Death Riders. And they'll get a big 11. And that's it for my charges. So into combat, we've just got this unit of Death Riders, and they're going to do their best. So just into combat with these Death Riders.
All of defense.
Then 4s to wound, though. And that'll be 7 at rend 1.
Saving on 3s. But I still fail 5 out of 7.
Oh my
So
god.
that's 10 damage right off the hop.
Despite losing his comrades, the last Vanguard continues fighting and takes down a Death Rider in retribution. Regaining their footing, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers enjoy the momentary reprieve and catch their breath in preparation for another clash.
All right, so OBR turned 2 here, and we're just carrying on as best we can. We took our lumps and are still standing. That's the main thing. We've scored well now both of our turns because I am going to get hold 1, hold 2, hold more here, and the battle tactic of taking the land that are already held. You did use Dark Master on or on Nagash, so that's a liability depending on how priority goes. Could affect me next turn as well. But then, yeah, that will send us into priority for round 3, Dom. That's a 4. 4 for both of us. You win ties.
I think I honestly would have rather you won, so that then if you take the double, you can't choose a battle tactic. Now I have to choose whether I keep the Dark Master on you, or I start to advance my board state and try and score. But I think the Dark Master right now is a little bit more valuable, so I'll give you the turn.
All right, let's head into OBR turn 3. All right, for my battle tactic this round, I'm going to go for Inevitable Demise. It's one of the death ones, so I have to have 2 units wholly within enemy territory and outside of 9 inches of enemy units. And then I do have 6 spells with Nagash, and I'm gonna get to try them all. I'll start off with seeing if I can attempt Invitation of Nagash onto the Death Rider.
Nope.
Then we will try the same spell on the other, the big unit.
No.
We'll try Empower Nadirite Weapons on the big unit.
Yes.
And get that off on an 8.
Yes.
So they'll be critting on 5s now. Then we'll try to Dispel the Life Swarm.
Yes.
And do that on a 7. And I have nothing really left to cast with Nagash, so I'm going to spend a command point to try and rally that lone Death Rider again. And we bring a pal back. And that's going to be it for my hero phase.
I will try to cast Heroic Intervention with Bellicor. I will try to cast out the Gnashing Jaws. I guess cast on 7, so on an 8. Fails. And I will spend another command point to rally the other Vanguard. And they heal up.
All right, and then into movement. Nagash is going to try to use Reform Ranks for the Retreat and Charge bubble.
Nope.
Okay, and we'll see if he'll get to move.
Nope.
Okay. All right, that's gonna be it for my movement phase.
I'm going to redeploy the Green Vanguard. Get a little bit closer for my turn. A little bit.
Then we'll get into charging, and I'm just gonna go for the charge with the purple sun and get an 8. And then I'm gonna start off combat with my unit of Death Riders, and I will use all-out attack here.
I will all-out defense.
The Death Riders deal 4 damage to the Vanguard, who survives with 1 health and in turn deals 4 damage to the Purple Sun, but is then slain by the manifestation. Maintaining their defensive position, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers hold the strategic advantage and look to force their foe into a desperate gambit to try and keep up.
All right, Ossiarch Bone Reapers turn 3 was just enough, obviously staying safe. Like you said, Dom, before, we've got the points advantage because of how the first couple turns went. And I got my battle tactic. Nagash didn't do much. He didn't need to do much here, though. Would have been nice to have some of my more spells out, but the biggest thing was the Death Riders, with the help of the Purple Sun, just barely took down that Vanguard, and that was pretty critical.
Yeah, 20% of my units off the board with that one guy going down. And Bellacor's ability goes off. The big thing was preventing you from getting any value off of him for 2 turns as much as possible.
Yep.
Just try to shore up, and maybe I can get in and get close so you can't get healing off on him, and maybe I can take him down. Because honestly, if I take him down, I think I can. If I take him down in this turn, or if I get a double and take him down, there might be enough to swing the points back in my favor, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's the big thing about giving away the turn 2. You do set yourself up for another potential double, but obviously there's always the tactic hit.
Yep, always the tactic hit.
Yeah, so yeah, with that, we'll jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 3.
And so I'll choose the big terrain feature right in the middle of his land for take their land for my battle tactic. And I'll roll on my Nexus Chaotica for a 6, which puts me to 10. And I will use 9 of them, going down to 1, and I will shoot a terrain feature to do 2-up D3 mortal wounds. I will shoot the Wildwood, because that'll allow me to do 2-up D3 mortal wounds to all 4 of your units right there. Starting with the Maelstrom, nothing. Gravetide, nothing. Cavalos, the big guy, nothing.
Good job,
Yeah.
Nexus Chaotica.
You did your best. Be'lakor has 2 casts. He is going to cast the 3d6 counter charge on the or the 3d6 charge on the Vanguard. Gets it on an 11. I will try to banish the Gravetide. That is a 3, and it goes to +1/+2 for a 5, which is not enough. That is it for my hero phase.
Okay, I will spend a command point here to rally with Nagash. Let's start healing him back up. He's getting 5 wounds back. So 6 damage on him still.
This game is getting farther and farther from reach.
And that's all I'm gonna do.
All right, movement. And that's all I have for movement.
I will spend my last command point here to redeploy this unit of 4 Death Riders for 5.
All right, no shooting. We'll just go right to charges. I will charge with a 3d6 Vanguard. Not gonna be enough. I'll spend my last command point to reroll it. Still not enough. But I will charge Be'lakor. And he gets a 7, which I don't think is enough.
No.
Turns out we're not a combat army. Because we need to be in combat to do combat. That's gonna be the turn. I will score 8 points for the turn.
Yep, it's only dropping 2, but the big thing is I didn't lose any units, really is the name of the game.
Yeah, I really need to start, right 2 turns ago, I need to start killing your units.
Yeah.
I've only killed 1 so far.
Yeah, 5 man, but yeah, here obviously the big redeploy was what saved my bacon. If not for that 5 inches, both of those units would have made their charges.
Yeah, and I would have been able to take potentially that point, at least take control of that side of the board again.
Yep.
But here, big.
Yep, prio now into round 4. That's a 3.
That's a 5.
You got it.
You're up 10 points, and there's not going to be much that I can do to stop your scoring. Even if I stop a battle tactic, I have to score 10 points in 2 turns. So I think my best chance at doing that is taking another double and removing your models from the board. It hasn't failed me yet.
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 4.
We'll start with the Nexus. Gets me another 1. Bellacor's got 2 spells. Bellacor is going to banish the Gravetide again, which he does, because that will be a 10, 11, 12. For his next trick, Bellacor is going to give himself a 3d6 charge. On a 4, fails. That's it for hero phase for me.
I will spend a command point with Nadash to cast Invocation of Nadash onto the 2 Death Riders, but fail that on a 4. So I will spend a command point to rally those Death Riders. And we get 1 back.
Then movement. Nothing for shooting for either of us. Charges, I will start by charging the Vanguard first. They'll get it. Start of combat. My Furies are in combat with your chains, so they will, on a 3+, they'll get to immediately use the retreat ability and move 12 inches. That is super cocked, and I get it. So they are going to vacate the premises and go grab a point. So my first fight will be with the Vanguard. I'll do all of the rider attacks into the Cavalos, and I'll do all of the horse attacks into the Purple Sun.
With urgency paramount, the Vanguard dispatched the Death Riders, but failed to finish off the Purple Sun, which delivers a single wound in retaliation.
End of turn, my Vanguard killed another unit, so they'll roll an Eye of the Gods. And they get a 2. They would heal 3, but I would rather get some more buffs on them. So I'll re-roll it, risking D3 damage back. They'll just heal, that's what they want. Didn't quite get all that I wanted. I was really hoping to get the point and kill the Cavalos, but I did get the back point after getting the 3 up on the Furies. If I didn't, I was going to get that point regardless.
Yeah. If you had have not entirely killed the Death Riders, maybe you could have done a power through, but
yeah.
You rolled too well this time.
Yeah, too well this time. There was no saves required, just mortals. But yeah, I'm not looking good being down 6 points going into your turn. You can easily make it a 14-point gap, and then might be able to put it away in the 5th round.
Yeah, we're gonna do the best we can and jump into Ossiarch Bone Reapers, turn 4. All right, so my battle tactic this round is going to be seize the center, so I have to have 2 units within 3 of the middle of the battlefield. And with Nadash unbracketed now, he's going to have 9 casted in. He'll start off with Invocation of Nadash on the now 3 Death Riders, and fail at a 9 on a 5. Then he'll try the same spell on the big unit, and get that on an 11, so it's going to give them a 5-up ward save. And then he'll try and cast the Suffocating Gravetide, and get that on an 11. Then we're going to go for Empower Nattari Weapons on the unit of 10, and get that off on a 9.
I will try to unbind that one. You got it.
So they'll be critting on 5s now, this unit of Death Riders. And then he's going to try and cast Shard Storm at your unit of Furies, and get that off on an 11. So mortal wounds on 5s for 1.
6-up ward, no ward.
Then he's also going to try to cast Invocation of Nadash on them, and do so on a 9 for 2 mortal wounds.
No wards.
And that's going to be it for the spell casting, but I will use a command point here to rally those 3 Death Riders again. And we failed to bring back a guy this time. So sad.
Let's go.
And that is going to be the end of my hero phase.
So I'll Heroic Intervention, and I'll cast Spite Tongue Curse on the Purple Sun in the attempts to do 3 mortal wounds to it. And I get a 9.
And I do not unbind it.
And so that'll be 3 mortal wounds on the Purple Sun.
And if I make a ward, it's alive. But I don't. You take down the sun. And then I'm just going to get into movement. And I'm going to start off by using at the double with my unit of Death Riders here, just so they can go claim this objective.
Here we see Jordan forgetting that Nagash's resurrection ability is meant to be used in the hero phase. This is why you need more practice before events.
All right, that is going to be it for my movement.
In your movement, I will redeploy the Varangard for 6.
And then no shooting, no charging here, no combat for me, but you do have combat here with my endless spells.
After the Varangard pile in, one attacks and takes down the malevolent Maelstrom, while the rest destroy the shackles.
Okay, back from OBR turn 4, and sadly, you killed my Maelstrom because you redeployed into the shackles and were able to pile around. I was hoping it was going to actually get to finish off the Furies was the main thing, maybe deal some damage to the Varangard, but the Furies would have been the big thing, just get rid of a scoring unit. But here, I will store 8 points only, also because you take this objective with the redeploy, because I just get hold 1, hold 2, but not hold more, and I do complete the battle tactic with the help of Nagash returning a unit.
Yes.
So 8 points, and now there was a world in which I could definitely make a play for another objective or something, come here down to the Furies, but I have an advantage right now in points, so I don't need to take risks. I don't need to give you routes back into, letting you get closer. So I'm just trying to, again, make it as difficult as possible, playing as defensive as I can. And obviously it's working out here for me right now. But we will go into priority for round 5. That's a 5.
You get to decide.
And here, again, because of the lead, I would just take the turn to just guarantee the points that I'm scoring, and obviously enough to lock things down. And so no battle tactic here, and I'm just gonna auto run 1 unit to come take an objective, score my 6 points, and that'll put me up 20. Going into your final turn, Dom.
And then going into my final turn, I would, in your turn, I would need to roll a redeploy on Bellicor, because the only battle tactic I would reasonably have access to would be take the flanks, and Bellicor is within 26 inches of the flanks, so I just need to get him, or he's just outside of 26, so I just need to get him a little bit closer. So on 2 up.
Cool, so
I'll be able to take the flanks.
Redeploy close enough and then auto run.
Then auto run him over, and he'd be within for take the flanks. I'd have take the flanks with these guys over here. So with take the flanks, I automatically score 8 points, and I don't have enough. Even if I fought and took your Cavalos off that point, I still don't control more. There's no way for me to score the full 10 points. 8 points is the best I can get for at the bottom of the round for a 44-32.
Yeah, and here I think the name of the game, obviously we talked about it in turn 1, but the ability to counter deploy and have that pre-game movement was just put me at such an advantage, on top of then the bad luck and the failed battle tactic turn 1 really set you behind.
Yeah, with the Bellicor babysitting the Varangard, I have such a large threat range, and I can just deny by proxy a large area around them, because unless you come in and trying to fight me, that's just danger zone. I can just get into you. We saw when they do hit well, when they do throw some 6s, how easily they'll peel units. And just by proxy, you can control portions of the board, but when there's 8 objectives and I've only got 5 units and you've got 5 units, but you can bring those back, the onus is on me to kill your units and shut you down and catch you on points on the back end. Otherwise, I just can't stop you. You just start to toilet bowl, you just run around.
And especially that good death battle tactic that's non-interactive, 2 units in your territory, you usually can score that pretty well. And it just gives me another turn of staying away, right?
Yeah. And like I said, going into the giving you priority, I was going to have to go low on scoring to try and double you and try and peel as much as I could early, and I was real close. Left 2 guys left there, 1 guy left there, and I still at the end of the game didn't end up killing the unit.
Yeah, and I think you're right. If those 2 combats had you finish off that 1 Death Rider, I think you had 1 or 2 wounds left in the other unit. And things are a lot different.
Yeah.
Because on that double,
I get 5.
You got 5 Varangard into Nagash with no defensive wall, which really saved him.
And and that's the linchpin of your list. If Nagash goes down early, you've got no OBR battle traits outside of the crit 2 hits.
Yeah.
Because you would lose all of your utility because everything comes from Nagash. You've got almost 1,000 points into the list. If I peel him, all of a sudden, the jackpot.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention the not bringing that unit back, so that's potentially 10 Death Riders effectively gone there too. But it also then, with that kind of hanging over, having 1 model survive, and then Nagash bringing 1 back and then rallying another 1 back, just shows some of the tech and the tricks in this army. And he always finds a way.
Yeah, always finds a way.
But yeah, here there was a lot of big moments back and forth, narrow surviving units or narrow things just dying. So all the things you love to see in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, and when you have to play all 5 rounds and you still got models on the table.
Yes, exactly.
Against 12 Varangard.
Yeah, things went as well as possible if that's the case. But Dom, it was a great game. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one as well, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.